To begin off, we're going to be looking at the issues surrounding developing this new mine, analyzing any opportunities we have and threats to it, any alternative options opposed to the general application and proposal that we've been given, and recommendations to any changes, and then how we're going to implement and what route we're going to take. So initially, we've come up with several different issues for this mine. First one being Pan does not have that much cash on hand. This leads to shortfall in the funding they have to mine the bauxite, as well as potential project implementation delays. Another high-risk issue that we've found is the probability of mine flooding. This is something that will increase exponentially with increased climate change, and this will temperature decrease. This will provide loss in revenues as well as high repair costs. As well as political uncertainty. This is more of a secondary issue as we do not know what situations we will end up in. So to begin with this, we'll be initially going over three important players in this, that being Pan Am, the industry, and Mimosa. Beginning with Pan Am. First off, as I stated before, they're already low on cash. As well as one of the benefits that you have is they've been investing in several properties. This is providing them with asset capital. They also have high risk to their operations, as we said, due to the flooding. And also, as we found out, they're planning to expand further, and this is where benefit will come in as a long-term partnership. Next, we're followed by the industry. As we've seen, just in 2016, with a rapid growth of 8% within the mining industry, and aluminum being the second highest metal demand, we see a high increase in its value. Lastly, Mimosa. So we know it's a private equity arm, and we have a history of real estate investing, so this is a nice transition over as they're looking at real estate and then developing that land into a mine. We do see that there's high probability of differential options for the financing of this project, and they do require a 5-year guarantee on the royalties. So to begin with, the main risks we've associated with this project are we need to mitigate the risks to the asset itself, that being mined. We need more accessibility to funding in order to develop this project. We see high political uncertainty within the next 4 years. And with this, we can see high currency fluctuations in market valuations. So in order to properly finance this, we have to make several assumptions. First of which being that in the 3 years, there's going to be a 30% chance of at any given year this mine becoming damaged due to flooding. So in that, we decided each year, in the first 3 years, we'll be budgeting $3.2 million to account for this high probability of damage to the mine. Following that, we'll be doing $1.6 million as we found out that it's a 15% probability, so we're really coming out in half. Each one. So for that, we decided to budget $53 million annually to account for the loss of an entire year worth of loss of revenue due to this flooding.
With that, I'll take it over. As David just described, we went over some of the main risks that we identified, and we came up with 3 alternative solutions to finance the new project. The first being taking the deal as is that was offered by Mimosa. Second, looking towards extending a bank loan or taking out a new bank loan with the existing Bank of America, or renegotiating the deal with Mimosa. So first we're going to talk about the deal as is that Mimosa proposed with us. So the original deal can be broken down into a $100 million investment, cash up front, over where they would require 5 years guaranteed royalty fees. And after 5 years, it would be whatever 2% of our generated revenue would be. So I'm just going to the next slide to go over the original deal. So like I said, it was $100 million upfront with a 5-year royalty guarantee. Afterwards, which they would take 2% royalty fees of the generated revenue from the mine each year. So based on our calculations, the average royalty fee for the 25 years would be $30 million, which is approximately $750 million over the 25 years. Also, the 2% royalty fees are very low compared to what they could be asking for with the cash up front. And we would pay the royalties in Canadian dollars. As we are a company that operates in US dollars and the Canadian dollar is lower, we would be saving money as long as the interest rates were to stay the same or consistent. Some of the cons we noticed with this deal were the first 5 years of royalties that were guaranteed. Given that the risk of flood is 30% in the first 3 years alone, this could cause a lot of losses in our revenues for us, which would make these guaranteed royalties very tough to meet. Also, they're based on our projections, not on our actual revenue stream. So, because our projections are based originally off of the 15% flood guarantee, or the flood 15% flood option, we would have to budget into for the 30% that came in halfway through our deal. Another con that we found for this is there is no aid for the risk mitigation. So they would be taking on no liability. We would be taking on the full liability of paying for those floods and losing all that revenue, while they would be getting guaranteed money. And while we would still be making potential for more revenue after those original 5 years. So option B is the Bank of America. We currently have approximately $400 million in a bank loan with the Bank of America. So we already have an established relationship with them. They have a very low or a very reasonable interest rate for our industry at 7%. We pay all fees in the U.S. currency, which is our own currency. So we wouldn't have to deal with any fluctuations in changing to Canadian dollars or vice versa. So like the point says, it's protection from fluctuations in the currency and the market rates. Some cons that we noticed with this deal were the potential high collateral that the bank would require. Because we are in such a risky business with the floods, they would want a lot of collateral, a lot of leverage to make sure that they're secure in their loans to us. So because we just invested in $120 million in properties, we can see them using these properties as collateral, as first charges, to make sure that they're secure in those first 3 years and throughout the 25-year project that we would be undergoing. The final con we noticed for this one is the limited renegotiation room. Because we already have such a large loan with the Bank of America and we would be taking out an additional loan, they would have very strict standards for us to meet, make sure that we're meeting those amortization tables, or the amortization times, the interest rates, keeping up with all of the bank records and securities that they would need filed every year. So there isn't a whole lot of room for renegotiation in those original years. We made some assumptions on what the Bank of America investment deal might look like. The annual loan repayments from our original $400 million loan are about approximately $27 million per annum. And 80% of our phase 1 initiation plan is funded by the bank debt. If we were to take this option, it would put our debt to effective equity ratio a lot higher. And it would limit our ability to finance with debt in the future as we are looking to expand into other global markets in the next 5 to 10 years. The final option we looked at is option C, which is renegotiating with Mimosa. So some of the pros of this option are the option to refinance. I'm just going to skip ahead to some of the proposed renegotiation terms that we thought would be very beneficial and mutually beneficial for both parties in this negotiation. So we would still suggest that we get the $100 million upfront from Mimosa. However, given the risk of flood in the first 3 years, and their request for the guaranteed And after 5 years, we would offer the 2% royalty fees. However, we would require 35% ownership of risk liability, as we are looking more for a partnership with Mimosa instead of just an investment opportunity for them. They are, like as I mentioned before, they are looking to expand into the mining industry. We have just recently bought $120 million in properties and are looking to expand our operations around the world. So this would be a great opportunity, or a first step opportunity for them to get that experience with working with us and eventually moving in and investing in other opportunities with us in the future. Some of the cons of this deal, however, are they may reject our negotiation terms. This is a very high possibility, as it is a risk for them and it is a new business that they're willing to enter. However, we believe that we can get around this with the mutual partnership that we're recommending, and the terms are fairly similar to what they were originally requesting. However, it's more beneficial for both parties with these terms. Another con is Mimosa requiring a guarantee from Pan Am. As we have stated that we have set up a separate holding company to fund the mine project, and Mimosa is aware of this. However, they're requiring Pan Am to pay the royalty fees instead of the holding company in case the holding company were to experience losses in those first 5 years because of the flooding issues. So some of the decision criteria that David mentioned before were that we really have to take into consideration when looking at the financing options are the risk mitigation, the currency fluctuations, and the additional financing. So to better look at these options, we've conducted a decision matrix. And David, did you want to talk about this?
Sure. So as you can see, essentially the three main points that we had were risk mitigation, the additional financing we would require, as well as currency fluctuations. So as we've been saying, climate change is a huge problem that we know sea levels are rising, so the flooding is going to become a higher probability, especially as we progress through that 25-year mark. We are going to require that financing as we continue on and wish to expand our operations further. And then with the currency fluctuations, it's a pretty unstable political environment, especially for that first 5 years that we're looking at investing with them. So we need to ensure that we exercise as much caution as possible. So from here, we essentially tally out which would be the optimal option and which would provide us the best protection as well as return for both parties involved. And from this, we decided that our renegotiated offer would be the best option for us to pursue. Thus, in summary, based on all the uncertainties for the investments in the future, as well as potential risk, we believe that renegotiation would be the best option for both parties. This would offer attractive opportunities, as we said, for further investment and continuation into further mining operations that Pan Am would like to undertake. This is also key for the short and long run, as we're looking to develop a partnership as opposed to simply an investment.
We can now take this time to talk a little bit more about the political instability that's happening in the U.S. right now. U.S. fluctuation rates have been fairly uncertain, especially as we enter this new time of 2017 in the next 4 to 8 years. We really have to analyze the environment and making sure that we're making the right financing decisions. Can we just go back to the... We have to make sure that we're taking into consideration all of the different financing options in the U.S. as we do operate under the U.S. dollar. So the political uncertainty. One of the issues that we talked about was the currency fluctuations dealing with Mimosa, as they do operate under the Canadian dollar and we operate in the U.S. dollar. This is one of the major issues we have to start thinking about as we look into working in a partnership with them and as they look to invest in us as we would have to pay those royalty fees in the Canadian dollar in their reporting standards. This could really affect our operations as the US dollar is fairly uncertain as to how it's going to react to the Canadian dollar is how it's going to react in the current state of the market. And again, we have to seriously consider the decline in cash on hand, as we have dropped to 16 million in the last year. This project is very highly capital intensive. We really do need that money, especially as it goes out. So one of the benefits of this is to work with Mimosa and have them reinvest after having the opportunity to renegotiate. Having the opportunity to renegotiate with Mimosa as time goes on as a partnership instead of an investment, so that we can, they can further inject money, they can buy equity, they can be a partner with us and move into more projects across the world as we continue expanding our business. Did you know more about the negotiation?
Possibly not the negotiation, however, something that we would do need to also look at is political uncertainty can go both ways. As we see that more tariffs being implemented on finished products, we don't know if we're going to be importing as much into the United States. However, we do know that the greatest expansion of this industry has been the 12% increase in production within the Chinese market. Thus, we would look to really finance that and moving into that market instead, as opposed to simply working with any U.S. brokers. So from that point, we'd like to conclude and take any questions that anyone may have.
So did you guys come up with the budget of 3.2 million in damages for the flooding each year?
So, yeah, the 3.2 million, because we have the 15% probability each year. So the 3.2% is because of that doubled increase for the 30% within the first 3 years. So by doubling it, we knew that by averaging it out over the course of that 25-year period, that to account essentially for any of those damages, we would need to budget annually that amount of money. So to ensure that we have sufficient capital, if that were to occur within the first 3 years, we need to budget a higher amount right off the get-go, and then after that 3-year period, once we know that the probability will decrease, that's when we can begin to lower what we're going to be putting aside to account for any damages.
Your decision to proceed with the renegotiated settlement versus the original offer, it seems from the matrix that you would not accept the original offer. You definitely go with that. Is that correct?
Yes, the original offer, if you will, just bring up the slide there. So the original offer, it's very one-sided. We saw it's a 650% return on investment for them, while we're accepting all of that liability, especially in that first 5 years that we talked about, with the guaranteed royalties that they are expecting from our projections that we had already submitted. And prior or after that, we had gotten notice of those the increased risk of flood. So it's more risk on our part. At that point, we would have rejected the offer just because we would have experienced more benefits going with the Bank of America because they would offer more security and back protection.
So as a follow-up to one of my colleagues' questions, from the decision matrix, you can see that the differential between your renegotiated offer and bank financing is very tiny. So how much of a conviction do you have in your recommended strategy because of the financing of that whole venture? So why negotiated offer versus bank financing when the differential is only 1 point?
Yes, okay. So what we see more, these were just the risks that we identified and some of the things that we wanted to solve through that. More than that, on the bigger picture, we saw a great opportunity to partner with an investor who's really looking to expand into this market, that we already have a set foot in in the industry of. So more than just the financing, we were looking for a partner to continue to refinance. This is just also the refinance, or the renegotiation is just for the original 5 years. We would continue to refinance with them throughout the 25-year project. So at the 5-year mark, we'd be saying, look, these are our revenues, we're doing well, or we're not doing so well. Maybe we need to invest more money. Maybe we need to look at other options externally now. So it's just the original renegotiation. We would continue to work with them throughout the 25 years. This was just a 5-year renegotiation.
Do you see any issues with the First Nations one this year?
We did not consider that as an option. However, now that you have brought it up, we would definitely look into mitigating with them. As David said, we are looking at analyzing the whole environment. So it's not just the financing that we were looking at. It is also the environment, the rising temperatures, the communities that would be affected. So yes, we would consider that moving forward.
As well as to expand on that, by the UN governance we do need to consult and receive proper consent from the native population. So essentially that's basically included in that. We couldn't go into land that's like unceded land and begin. That way we need to do proper consultation with the communities there and ensure that they're receiving proper compensation for it, as well as any concerns that they have would be addressed within that line.
Thank you. That's all the